The past always finds the present with unprecedented consequences, or consequences rather there. Basing your illustrations and arguments on a doll's house, validate the statement. The past always finds the present with unprecedented consequence. Basing your arguments on a doll's house rather by Henrik Ibsen, validate the statement. Welcome again to this particular episode, and this time round, I'm going to respond to a question posed as the comment section. And kudos, Marcus. Marcus, you are an enlightenment. And in fact, some of the posts that you post there, they are very sentimental and very controversial. And even as we are looking, as we're preparing for this particular final touches for the November sittings. Good learners, in the text that they play, there is always past experiences, past evidence, past actions that haunt or that find their way to the present lives of the same characters in the play. Now, we're going to base our arguments and our illustrations from the text, and of course, by also validating them, that the past actions, the past experiences, to some extent, they find their way uh, to our present lives, and in a very unpredictable way and unprecedented manner. So to begin with, the play A Doll's House follows the lives of Nora and of course Torvald, a seemingly lonely, lovely couple. The drama takes us through the course of a few days and shows the daily struggles that these two live with rather. For Torvald, he simply works and lives with his wife, who he jokingly yet frequently refers to as my little Skylark. That is on page 3. For Nora, she lives her life in a partial state of duress as she is secretly paying off a loan that she got for her husband because of a sickness that he had a while back. Along with this loan, she hides little things like her patches of macarons, which Torvald has spoken against her buying. Uh, while these may seem like harmless tasks that carry no real consequences, I can tell that this is not true. By the end of the play, Nora leaves supposedly never to return, but why? Is it because of her pent up emotions or a newfound unfamiliarity with the life that she's known? Many people would deem these the reasons, and while I wouldn't disagree, I believe that there is something deeper at hand. It is something found in her smallest lie to greatest outburst that shows this conclusion, or this condition rather. And I believe that these decisions were knowingly made by Nora, but at the same time had no real control over the outcome. It is clear that while she may not have one solid, nameable disorder or condition, it is evident that she has a complex disorder with varying side effects. Each character in the play has actions that have happened in the past that haunt them in the present. For example, Dr. Rank's dying over the mistakes of his excessive father and the shared past between Torvald and Krogstad, which ultimately leads to Krogstad's termination. The most significant return of the past events occurs to the doll like Nora, who was deceived her husband for years but is now on the brink of being revealed. In an exchange between Torvald and Dr. Rank, Dr. Rank comments on enjoying himself at the party, and Torvald responds with, and I quote, "I think so too, so long as you don't have to pay for it in the morning." End of quote. It is Torvald's belief to not have negative consequences for one's own actions. Dr. Rank then responds with, and I quote, "Oh well, one can't have anything in this life without paying for it." Dr. Rank knows paying for the consequences of past actions better than any other character in the play due to the severity of his illness. His father's overindulgent nature has left Dr. Rank forever scarred, and in the end, it will cause his death. Similarly, Dr. Rank's comment applies to Nora. Nora believed that she could borrow money, forge a signature, and still come out unscathed. These past actions are what causes Nora so much trouble. She lied to Torvald and for years hid how she spent her money and time. The central conflict for Nora is trying not to allow Torvald to unearth her secret, but at the same time, she thinks that Torvald and the law would forgive her crimes. During the events of the play, Nora's present is consumed with hiding her past decisions. Torvald's response to enjoying oneself is a form of irony for Nora because Nora did enjoy herself, but now she has to face the consequences. However, Nora is not ready to let go of her past and does everything in her power to keep her past a secret. Next, we look at Krogstad, who is also seriously affected by the consequences of his deceitful actions. Krogstad forged a signature onto certain documents, was caught, but never admitted to his crime. The professional world saw this as an act of cowardice, and Krogstad has had to fight and work tirelessly in order to regain any ounce of respect that he had lost. The rigid society in which Krogstad lives has made it very or nearly impossible to move beyond his minor past crimes. These circumstances force Krogstad into loading Nora money, and they are the driving factor behind why he blackmails Nora. Krogstad will do anything to keep his job in order to slowly improve his reputation for his sons. He says, "My sons are growing up for their sake. I must try and win back as much respect as I can in the town. This post in the bank was the first step up for me, and now your husband is going to kick me downstairs again into the mud." Now, the main reason Krogstad will not keep his job is because of his crimes and also because of the shared past between himself and Torvald. Torvald and Krogstad knew each other growing up, which causes Krogstad to be informal with Torvald. Torvald despises Krogstad's familiarity with him because it associates Torvald with the stigma of Krogstad's crime. The most important thing to Torvald is having an honorable and respected reputation. Not only does Krogstad's past illegal acts hurt him, it is the familiarity with Torvald that ultimately leads to his termination at the bank. Finally, Nora is a character who has not been able to move beyond her past. As a child, she was raised by a protective, overbearing father who treated her like a plaything. Nora has never learned anything for herself, nor has she been able to form her own opinions. Rather, she has shared the beliefs of the older men in her life, like her church's reverend rather. After being treated like a doll by her father, Nora went to live with Torvald. Torvald was no different from Nora's father. He treated her like a toy, calling her this little squirrel or a spendthrift rather. Nora even admits to Torvald that she doesn't know what her tastes are because when she lived at home, her tastes were her father's. Then when she moved to Torvald, her tastes adopted. In the 8th year history of Nora's and Torvald's marriage, Nora claims that they've never had a serious conversation. However, Nora never paid any attention to this because she was so used to being treated superficially by the men in her life. Nora even says, "Our home has been nothing but a playroom. I've been your doll wife just as at all. I was Papa's doll child." The consistent treatment of Nora as a plaything in her past is what pushes her to leave Torvald and her family. It may have taken years for the past to affect Nora rather, but once then did she drastically change the way she lived her life. In Henrik Ibsen's timeless play A Doll's House, a crucial theme is how the past is interwoven with the present. The past haunts Dr. Rank, who ultimately dies due to his father's excessive nature. Furthermore, Krogstad is haunted by his minor crimes and his shared past with Torvald, which ultimately leads to his being uh, fired. Finally, the past comes full circle for Nora after Krogstad loses his job and reveals her secret to Torvald. Try as she might, Nora cannot hide from her past crimes of deception and forgery. Nora has come to the realization that she has been treated all her life as a toy and now has a duty to put herself first. Finally, in conclusion, that the most significant return of past events occur to the doll like Nora, who was deceived her husband for years but is now on the brink of being revealed. Uh, Good learners, again, I would like to pause it right here. Hope that maybe you've gotten the best of your interest in this particular work and may it help you. If in case you're this particular person who is in love of literature, definitely this is a channel that you would want to subscribe up to for the future updates. Even as we keep on maybe revealing, trying to maybe make it clear in areas that maybe we've got doubts here and there. And again, if you came across this work, it is your first time, you bumped across it accidentally, how about a thumbs up, a subscription rather, and a sharing with good friends? That one will do me good. Above all, I just want to wish you the very, very best. Cheers for now.